lovies, we are here for you today to talk to Davel.
Hi.
It's really scary in here though. We're in an abandoned school. It's probably filled with ghosts and
One can hope.
Blood orphans, lots of blood orphans.
blood orphans, but yeah, so we wanted to talk to Davel today about his art and his life and everything spooky about you.
It's everything from H to T.
So tell us about yourself.
I am a New York, New Jersey based illustrator. Went to SVA for a few years. Do a lot of freelance stuff. So that's a lot of like shirt designs, poster designs, that sort of thing. And every now and then I dabble in graphic design, did some art direction in my day, and basically that, trying to get into the art world a little further in,
How long ago did you start?
This is like a whole life thing.
Whole life?
Yeah, this is like my uncle was drawing back when I was a kid, and I would stumble into his art room, and this guy's like, he's painting all this crazy like 80s heavy metal era stuff. So
that's
like
awesome.
he was really into like chicks riding dragons, and I'm like 5 looking up like, I don't get this. This is not my thing, but okay.
That's pretty sick though.
So that's how it started. It starts with that, and then from there on out, it's just like constantly drawing on my school desks or on everything I could possibly get my hands on, and then it just became life.
Does music influence your art now?
Yeah, you can't not draw without listening to music. You absolutely need like a playlist going at all times. Otherwise, what's the point? You need to set a mood to get you right into it. Like,
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing too. So like if I'm doing something weird, I'm probably gonna play like something.
Yeah, I'm curious. What are you listening to?
Oh god, right now it's a lot of like this weird droney, like droney kind of metalish kind of stuff.
So, okay.
Like Ritual Howls is like the name of one band I listen to.
Do you ever draw to sun?
Yes.
Really?
Because it's very monotonous. So I
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So what are you currently working on?
Right now it's a bunch of commissions I gotta finish up. So I got.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always fun. Like, I got a bunch of people to hit me up from doing like these oddities markets. So I'll do that during the summer, and you'll have people come up like, hey, I really want this, but I don't have the cash for it now. Can I give you like my email? And then we'll just talk back and forth, work out a price, and work out the content of whatever it is. So a lot of them turn out to be like, portrait sketches of like your favorite superhero, or like, can you draw my dog, stuff like that. But like, can you make it a creepy dog, just generally my aesthetic. Can you do this cute thing, but really horrific?
That's really funny. That's typically what I ask people to draw for me. Can you draw my dog, but in your personal creepy style? So I might have to commission that from you.
You might. Can I have 3 mouths and like snarling tongues? Yeah, that's nothing. So now it's that, doing a bunch of commissions, but I'm trying to get through that workload so I can push it over to my next project. I want to work on a graphic novel, so we're going to be working our way towards there, and then hopefully some solo shows coming up in the next like year or two.
Do you think that'll be in the horror genre, or?
It's going to delve into it every now and then.
Okay, cool.
It's not fun unless you kind of have like a mixed bag of genres.
Yeah.
It's always fun to kind of dip in and out of them. So there'll definitely be some horror-based stuff, and then we'll see what else goes into that.
Cool. Do you have any like favorite comic book artists?
Yes. Oh my God, there's so many. Paul Pope has been my obsession for the last like 5 years, probably longer. Ashley Wood has been a tremendous inspiration since the day I started doing all this stuff. You got them. Been a big fan of Ben Templesmith for a long time. Greg Capullo is one of my idols.
Oh yeah.
Ever since Spawn, it's basically been like him and McFarlane. Like I just can't get enough of
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. I mean, those are 2 of the biggest names.
Yeah, so it's like fantastic. Or like Becky Cloonan. I love Becky Cloonan. Every time she does something, she has this beautiful aesthetic where it's elegant, but it has this ethereal kind of charm to it. So I love her work every time she touches it. And then even like when she does like, I think she did Killjoys, she did this beautiful like retro futuristic kind of aesthetic with the characters. So I love that stuff. It's so fun.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
What interested you in the comic book medium?
It was a wonderful form of storytelling. That's all this boils down to. It's storytelling. Just depending on how you want to do it. Like, one piece of illustration has to capture this magical moment. Like, let's say a cover art for a comic book, it has to capture this wonderful moment happening inside the story. And then from there on out, like once you unfold it, you have to craft the way the story is being told. So like watching different people tell their stories, it was fascinating. I grew up with comic books, I grew up with film and TV. Those were my parents. I had 3 parents, and they were not the ones that actually birthed me out. So it's been these 3 things, and storytelling has always been my the great love that every artist has. But the medium, when it comes to comic books, it's a fascinating way to tell that story, because you get to tell it in a certain way where you can ignore dialogue and focus more on the actual visual, and you can convey those emotional beats by just drawing the eyes a little bit more slanted, a quiver of the lip, and you can really get that emotion across. So that's basically it.
What's the story that you want to tell?
I want to do one for each genre. That's the thing. I want to tell a great love story. I want to tell a great sci-fi story. I want to do a coming of age one. I think the biggest one I want to do a children's book.
What?
I would love to do a children's book. That's always been my big thing. I want to do a kid's book. I don't know why.
Write it.
I would love to do it.
Can Jenna be the writer?
Yes, please. Save me half the trouble.
I used to want to write children's hygiene books,
What?
health books.
Really?
Yeah, because I did in college. My internship was with the youth programs at Red Cross, and I had to come up with a story to tell kids to get them to wash their hands, and it was just so much fun. And
Can you tell me that story?
I don't know it off the top of my head anymore, but we made a storybook and everything, and we'd go to preschools and read it to the little kids.
That's adorable. Yeah. That's fantastic.
All right, that's it. We got a collaboration.
See, there we go. That's my next project. So refer back to the next question.
So essentially, the children are going to have blood all over their hands, and Jenna's gonna have to explain how to wash the blood off of their hands.
Right.
Could be hazmat Jenna walking in here, you wash your hands. You.
One part bleach to 1 part water.
Exactly. What would be the moment that you would feel like you've made it, or if you have made it, what was that moment? Okay,
this is a 2-part answer then. So for me, the moment that would define I made it here, I finally did what I set out to do, it would be either end up on a Penguin Classic book cover, do one of those. I would love to
wow.
do. Yeah, it'd be fantastic to be okay, cool, the next big book that's coming out, you want to do the cover for it? Yes, in a heartbeat. Or even for Anna Karenina, I'll do it. Yeah, hell yeah, why not? That'd be fantastic. Or end up on a Mondo poster, those limited edition posters that get released. I would love to do it for something like Leon, or oh god, I saw The Devil, something fantastic that. That'd be a great,
excellent movie.
I love that movie so much. It's so beautiful, but awful.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
It is a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it's very well shot.
Absolutely, but like you said, it's awful.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Did you see I Saw the Devil?
No, I haven't.
You really should. It's Korean revenge at its best.
Yeah. It really takes the revenge aspect to a brand new level. It's very satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you so you're not scared.
The intro's a little shaky, so yeah, you're gonna need some help.
How has your practice changed over time?
By doing it more. That's been, I used to never practice, so I was always I gotta do it, I gotta get right into it. So now lately it's always been I'll carry a notebook with me. I usually carry 2. I don't know why, because that's just how I'm going to end up doing this. I'll probably leave one at work, and at least I'll have the other one with me. But it's just trying to find every little chance you have to just sketch, to practice, to just draw something interesting that you see. So, on my lunch breaks, I'll be walking around the city, and I'm this is just a fantastic little archway above this door. It's custom made, but I need to remember this. So you'll sit there for 15 minutes and just sketch it out, or you'll just see someone that's just interesting. They have interesting looks, and in a place like New York City, you're a dime a dozen like that.
Yeah.
You're on the subway, there's someone interesting, there's someone doing something weird. You want to capture it. You can only retain this so much. It informs the image later, but you want to sit down and do that. So practicing it's getting more and more and more.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been noticing, just trying to actually practice.
Absolutely.
To get sharper.
Drawing anytime you can.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that you constantly need to do it. You can practice for 30 years and you're done. to the day you die. You have to keep it going, otherwise you lose it. It's just, you have to maintain this ability.
Yeah, and that's totally correct, because I used to draw a lot in high school, and I stopped drawing for such a long time, but I found an old sketchbook and I was like, let me try doing this again, and I felt like a newborn baby. I was like, how do I draw bodies?
So you mentioned that you have 2 notebooks. What kind of materials do you prefer? Pens, ink?
Generally, when it comes to materials, I always have this mechanical graphite pencil. It's perfect. It gets a clean line every time. I don't have to worry about sharpening it or anything like that. So it's always mechanical for me. I know a lot of people like different, hues of the graphite. Whenever they're doing like a charcoal or even like a regular drawing, I usually erase all my lines, so it's just there purely as a guideline to get me to where I need to go. And then that's where I think it's CureTech. It's a Pentel brush pen. I love those things. They're fantastic. If you talk to any seasoned illustrator, worth their salt, they're gonna call me an asshole for doing that. 'Cause they always prefer an actual brush to an inkwell and doing it that way, because you can control how much ink. That doesn't work for me. I learned how to draw like I'm writing something down. I can't do this whole like swashy thing with my arm. It's gonna throw my game way off. Okay. So it's those 2 things, and I love this the CureTech brush pen. And then everything else after that, like once I put it down with graphite, put it down with ink, digital colors. So Photoshop and Wacom. Okay. Those are my 4 main tools, and I love them to death. And every now and then I'll start adding more to the arsenal. So like my bag has a bunch of like little things, like the 8 top things I carry. It's the mechanical pencil, the CureTech pen, ink brush pen. There's 2 other ink brush pens I use. One's like a real deep black, and the other one's like a gray. So I like to toss those in there for accents. Then you have like a graphite crayon, a white ink pen, because I mess up all the time, so you need to cover that up. And then like a couple of microns. Okay. I love microns. There's something I haven't been really using up until the last like 3 years. When I went to SVA, I had this illustration professor. Her name is Yuko Shizumi. Fantastic artist. She will blow anyone out of the water. It's insane how talented she is. She's the one that gave me shit about the whole like CureTech thing. So she's like, don't use that, use the brush pen. Use the brush, and I don't listen to stuff. But she told me in that class, she's like, don't waste your money on microns. They get used up so fast. You're gonna end up spending so much money. You should get a repeatograph. It's almost the same thing. It's a little bit more expensive, but you can constantly refill it. And I bought those for years, and I thought they were great. But the problem is, if you don't follow up the upkeep, if you don't clean it, they will go to shit immediately. And I cannot do that. I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna put it in the bag, and I'm gonna wait like 2 weeks, and it's gonna crap out. So I'm just constantly buying microns, but I like them because when you erase over them, you actually erase part of the ink, but it gives it texture. Yeah. So I love seeing that. Whenever I'm like drawing into someone's face, like a couple of details, I'll erase it real quick, and it gives it this nice, beautiful texture that you can't really, you can get it in other places, but it has a nice little, beauty to it. This nice really little, awesome. It's really fun, especially when you're getting into the hair. You want like a certain area a little lighter than the other. You can just go in there real quick. Okay. Yeah, so that's been really fun to use, but that's been my go-to for the last couple of years.
It's kind of like a negative fill in a way, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit like that. Oh, and then for paper, it's mostly Strathmore, the notebooks. Unless I'm doing anything bigger, then it's going to end up being like the Acer 300-pound like watercolor paper. Or maybe a little less, like maybe 200 if I can, because it has a little more tooth, it has grit to it, so it's going to suck in all the ink. Okay. So when I'm using the ink, like the ink brush, I can get a nice smooth curve, as opposed to like a smooth paper where like it's going to pick up the jitters in my hand. That's giving like resistance when it comes to like the watercolor paper, so I can go like that, and it balances out like my natural little like.
I'm making like a whole mental list of like, I think I need to buy this and try
Yeah,
all of
you
these
said like
things.
watercolor paper, and I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
I love watercolor paper. Is great. It's fantastic. I love using it for textures in the background, just to even just mess around with. And it's just nice and sturdy, so you feel safe carrying it around. So like, you know, whenever I draw on the Strathmore, I'm like, it's gonna break, it's gonna get wrinkled. I'm constantly paranoid. I'm very neurotic when it comes to my stuff. So like, when it's when it's like that nice durable paper, I feel at ease. I know it's safe. I know the edges are gonna get a little bit, but that's fine. The main piece is good.
I asked you before, do you do any other jobs outside of art?
Yeah, and you just looked at me like a deer in headlights. So outside of the whole artist illustrator thing, I'm an immigration coordinator for the IATSC.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Please explain that. What does that mean?
All right, so basically, I work for an entertainment union. We back up all the people that are like stage techs at concerts,
Okay, that makes more sense to us.
yeah,
Okay.
or like on film sets too. Like we do film and mostly stagecraft. But whenever there's someone coming into the country, let's say on like a U2 tour, or even like let's say they're coming over to film, you know, Star Wars, you know, film here for a little bit. Like let's say they want to do a scene in the Redwood Forest or something like that. Wherever they're coming from, they probably have like a technician that they want to bring over. So let's use U2 as an example. So U2's coming here on tour, and Bono wants to bring his 5 hairstylists, you know, the stage techs, the sound guys, lighting, yada, 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 30 people probably. They have to go to USCIS or Homeland Security for their visas, right?
Okay.
But in order to do so, they need a labor organization letter from the proper organization, which would fall under our jurisdiction since we're doing stagecraft. Since it's music, we can cover it. So in order for them to get the visas, they need a letter from us saying like, hey, it's cool, they're not taking jobs from our people, you should let them in, everything's fine. And that's what it boils down to.
That still sounds complicated.
It's complicated.
These are like jobs that I never even thought of. Like,
yeah.
you know it's there. Someone has to do it. You're that person.
I never thought anyone, I mean, you two could bring whoever they want.
Not everybody. They try to bring their therapist and it doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they try to bring like their therapist, their artistic something
I
or
just
other.
thought you needed like a regular travel or work visa and you were
No.
good.
It's
I mean-
kind of hard to get a work visa in the United States.
It's difficult, yeah. And
Huh.
if you want that letter, you gotta go to the right place. So like we don't cover therapists, so we can
No,
only
we
cover all
don't.
the techs. So they gotta like break it up. Like, all right, so his like animal wrangler has to go to this place and then go over here.
Now we know who to go to when we need that kind of letter.
Yeah.
What type of superpower would you have if you could have any one?
See, this is the question that racked my brain all day.
All day, you thought
All
about
day.
it.
Yeah, I thought about it all day, and I came to a very odd conclusion. Because I don't want to say like, oh, I want to be invisible, I want to fly. No, those are cheap answers. I want to have the ability that Powder had in that movie from the 90s. You guys ever see that?
What movie?
Wait,
Powder.
Powder, yeah.
Powder.
Yeah.
I want his ability.
Powder, yeah.
Powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want him. I want his ability.
Wait, what movie is this?
Okay, it's a movie about a kid who gets struck by lightning. No. His mother gets struck by lightning while he's in the womb.
Oh.
So he comes out and he's like white, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he can control like electricity,
He has like this
Oh,
weird
this
like
sounds vaguely familiar.
like
Okay.
static something.
something like that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Josh Goldblum. Not Josh. Jeff.
Jeff
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum. Josh. Jeff Goldblum's in it. And so we're like a few random people, but he has these weird like little abilities, and a lot of them are electricity based. So I think at one point in the film, he was able to like take someone's like, he was using empathy, and he was able to take someone's like sadness away, and like he put it like all into himself. So I want to be able to do that, but also freak you out by making a mountain of spoons. He had this thing where like he was causing like static electricity from the spoon, and it just magnetized all the spoons in the cafeteria, and they all came flying to his plate. So I would love to do that, just like, I'm out, and just walk away.
That's so cool though.
Yeah. So I would want to do that, and you know, the other scene that happened in that film, I think it was a bunch of hunters. Do you remember this? They were out in the woods and they shot a deer, but it wasn't a clean shot. Like they missed the heart, so they were like going to let it die. And they were out with Powder, and he was freaking out. So he grabs the hunter that shot him and then touches the deer, and he was able to transfer the feeling of dying from the deer to him. So he was like feeling his heart stop. He was like, "This is what you did to it." Like, I would love to do that. I would love to do
I
shit like
kind
that.
of remember that. Yeah.
That's a perfect superpower.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I wouldn't have even thought of that. That's awesome.
Kind of like Rogue.
Kind of, yeah.
What's your go-to spot for pizza?
Okay, this has multiple answers.
Multi-layered answer.
It's multi-layered. All right, so I recently discovered this place by my apartment. So I've been there for about 2 years now. It's called Ave Cafe. It's a pretty good pizza. They make a bomb eggplant pizza. Ooh. I love it. Now, if I'm taking someone like on a date, like it's like a first date thing, I'm going to Vesta. Vesta's over in, I think, Rutherford. It's this wood-fried pizza place. It's like...
Oh, okay. I know where that is. I haven't been there, but yeah, I knew someone who worked there.
Okay.
Both of you need to do yourselves a favor and go there.
And go to Vesta?
They have this pie that's pear and gorgonzola. It is fantastic.
You made pear and gorgonzola stuff for your painting party.
Was it gorgonzola?
Oh, no, brie. No.
No, it was apple and brie.
Apple and brie. Close.
Yeah, similar ideas.
Close enough. But yeah, that's really good. It's a great
So you go for like the fancier pizzas.
I try. Yeah, I'm a fancy
Not
guy.
like just a plain cheese slice. Like you want the pear and gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. Pair with a nice wine. You know, swirl it around a little bit, sniff.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for coming on to our channel.
Thank you for having me here and putting me in this haunted school.
I know.
Where I will die.
I mean, I don't know if you guys heard, but I
heard some screaming.
Totally heard a scream while you were talking.
It was more like a whale. It was like, oh.
Yeah. It really, like, I'm not even joking.
We're not leaving. We're not getting
So
out
I
of
kind of got a little spooked from that. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And how do we usually sign off?
Like, comment, subscribe. Also, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
I do, yes. Hello Creeps. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, basically anywhere you get your podcasts. And we're on Instagram at HelloCreeps666. And we try to post once a week, so just check us out. Let us know what you think. It's spooky stuff.
It's really awesome. I've listened on Stitcher before, so
thank you.
I actually really like Stitcher. Not like I don't know.
We're not
promoting
sponsored.
Stitcher, but I like
yet.
Stitcher. Wait, are you guys also on Spotify? Because I know there's a lot of podcasts on Spotify now.
I think we're trying to make the move. We were thinking about it before, but it was just up and coming, so I could probably convince Fredo to do it. So.
Gotcha. All right. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe, and also follow Hello Creeps 666 on Instagram, and find Hello Creeps on any place you listen to podcasts. So, thanks.
Bye. Let's start a fire.
Let's start a fire.
Figuratively.